We are in the most unassuming video game area I have ever seen. Forever Games here, the Columbus, Ohio area. We just got a glimpse into the greatest office I've ever seen, the greatest back room of a video game store I've ever seen. It is amazing, guys. Check this out. So as you can see, everything is so meticulously put together. Our guy Matt here owns this place, Forever Games, and everything is immaculate. Quality on quality on quality, guys. This is making me feel like I shouldn't even have a game store. You gotta check this out. Here's this first room. You got all of these displays. You got the Nintendo 64 displays, but this is beautiful. If I lived here, I would be shopping here all the time. So like right here, just sitting down here is a beautiful Jaguar. See, I always say, you guys don't like how I say Jaguar. Jaguar CD down here. It's beautiful. If you guys did not know, the Jaguar CD is where I started reselling and collecting. I bought one for $4 or $5 at an auction when I was a kid, and I sold it on this place called eBay, Electronic Bay, in 1999 for like $38, and I had to ship it myself as a kid. It's like a 12-year-old kid. Hey, it's where it started for me. All right, here he is. Matt is here. He's in the house, bro.
How's it going?
Dude, so pumped to be here, man. All right, I need to know, how long have you had this place?
So we moved to this location about 5 to 6 years ago.
Okay.
We were at another location about 20, 25 minutes from here for about 4 years before that, so about 10 years.
Okay. What in the world prompted you to have a video game store?
I just loved video games. I never really saw myself as a collector originally. Like, I would just keep my stuff from my childhood. And then I kind of got into it and saw like there was a lot of cool stuff to collect. And then I started seeing that there was actually a really big market for this stuff. And I was out of college, and I didn't see myself going into like a corporate world. I saw myself kind of like entrepreneur side. So I joined, so I decided to open a store. But
you guys look at this. Daikatana, you got PGA European Tour. So are a lot of these games going to be going to the con? Or
not really.
Separate?
No. So we have separate inventory for that, and then we have the other stores separate inventory as well.
That was the thing that I had to really figure out, was owning a store, that because I knew people were going to come. The convention was in the same town as my store, so it was like trying to figure out how to have the store. I want the store to look good too. People are visiting from all over,
right.
But then I also wanted the stock at the con to be really good.
Yeah.
So you said you're going to do a lot of Pokemon cards at the show?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
It's just easier for conventions because you can take them. They're a lot more portable than video games are.
This is the big one, guys. This Thursday, Whatnot crazy show with the Grails, the Smash Bros, the Mario Kart, the Neo Geo games. This is the big one. This Thursday on Whatnot. Never heard of Whatnot before? It's eBay and Twitch came together. It's amazing, guys. And if you use my link down below, you get $15 for free to spend on the app this Thursday, The Grail Show. So speaking of Pokemon cards is very, very new to us, like maybe a year in. What is your percentage of sales in the store that are Pokemon cards versus games?
So it's almost 50-50 these days. Right now, especially the Pokemon market is really hot. People just love the stuff. I can understand it. I got into it in 2019, and then kind of just expanded. I got in right before the boom, the pandemic boom, and I loved it, and that's why I wanted to get into it, and then it just kind of grew from there.
Introducing 95 new cards with Pokemon e-trading card game EX Team Magma versus Team Aqua. Whose side are you on?
Guys, Matt's office makes me think I don't need an office. Look at this, man. All right, this has to be more than 10 years of collecting.
No. This is
really
reflection. And this is just my office. This isn't even my personal collection.
Because the collection at home is pretty wild, I'm sure.
Yes.
That's so crazy. KB, World of Nintendo Fiber. How many fibers do you have?
There are 2 in this room, and I have 2 more at home, so 4 fibers.
Okay. I mean, there's something about I don't know what it is. Maybe because they don't make lights like that anymore. Like, you never see any kind of lights like that.
Right, like I think it brings it back to like your light brights.
Oh
so
yeah,
back when
that's
you were a kid,
point.
like the nostalgia of that.
Okay.
Because at first, like I loved the super brights more than I liked the fibers. but the fibers have really grown on to me.
The one that stuck out to me is just because I've never seen it before. The Atari 5200. Where'd you get that at?
So that I got from another collector who was just kind of thinning down their collection, and they're like, "Hey, do you want this?" And I was like, "Okay." And so I got it for a reasonable price, and then I realized how heavy it was, and then I was like, maybe I shouldn't have taken this.
Like heavier than any other one you've ever dealt with.
Yes, and I've dealt with a lot of those cabinets, so it's ridiculous.
My gosh. Not a lot of game store owners that I know collect hardcore. You're a game store owner and you collect. Talk us through how you work through that in your mind. How do I sell items and how do I say, nope, I want this for my collection?
Well, the easiest thing is when you have a duplicate, right? Like, that's easy. You can sell it off. No brainer, right? But yeah, that's really the hard, is what do I want to pursue?
It's money.
And what collections. Yeah, it really is. I mean, but then sometimes you, like, even my taste change of what I want to go after or have in my collection. So sometimes I'll sell off a big chunk and restock it with something else in my collection. Okay. So sometimes I'll do that, but a lot of times I just try to hold and sell off the more common stuff that I see every day.
All right, so sealed on sealed. How do you determine what goes in here? What you all
so
that?
This is a singular collection. This was one find that I bought from another store owner. I sold off kind of all the duplicates. There was a lot of things where there was like 7 Dragon Warrior 1 sealed, things like that. Really cool stuff.
I have never. So just so you know, I've only been doing this really 2 years as a store, but 7-8 years as collecting hardcore. I've never had anything like that happen. Like, what happens in you whenever you like find something like that?
It's just exciting, right? You're like, oh my gosh. So actually, the guy had posted that he had got this lot on a Facebook group. I was traveling down to Florida at the time, and I was like, I'm just gonna go to the store. I want to see this sealed stuff. There's some really obscure stuff you don't see all the time. I see it in the pictures, and so I'm like, I'm gonna see what I can get from them.
They all have their price tag, like literally.
Yeah. So
they all have the same price tag.
The story is that it sat in the back of this like TV repair center for like 2 decades, right? Like untouched, just sitting there. And the guy pulled it out of a box. The other store owner bought all of the games at once, and then I bought all the games from him, and then slabbed them all. Took him to CGC and was like, "Hey, this should be at least named because it's a really cool story."
Yeah.
Paperboy from Mindscape for your Nintendo Entertainment System.
We're gonna move to the back here in a minute, but I want to show you something to me that is super nostalgic. Remember, as a kid, I remember seeing these Sega like displays that were like this. Basically, the idea was you could see the front and the back of the Genesis game or the Game Gear game or whatever. Where'd you get this at?
So that I got out of St. Louis from a collector that was just thinning down his collection as well.
Yeah.
I mean, it's really cool.
And that's the piece that it went
up as well.
I've never seen like a...
Yeah. So this was one of the
that's where they
racks.
stored the games.
And then, if you open it up, that's where they would have stored games, and we just store like comics and other things in there.
Pick one when you buy a Sega Genesis system between now and October 31st, up to a $50 value. Free! So buy a Genesis system now and get an extra game free. Hey, you can't do that on Nintendo.
At first you see this and you're just like, oh, Matt loves Black Box apparently, and he just loves Duck Hunt. He goes, oh, no, Rick, those are all different. Those are all different variations. Tell him real quick about what in the world that means.
So variants are like production runs. So like when you produce the first run of Duck Hunt, it's going to be a matte sticker. So later on, you have hang tabs that are on the original print, and then you get rid of the hang tabs, and then you start adding codes on the top and the side, and then you get into the different seal of qualities as well.
When does this just become this is just crazy?
It is. But I mean, if you look at other collectibles like coins, it gets even more dense, right? Like,
really?
They have small, minute differences that can make huge differences to collectors.
And at this point, he's a collector, so you move from like, oh, I love collecting this, so you collect games. Then you're like, oh, now I like collecting CIB. Then I collect sealed. Then you collect promos. Then you collect only. It gets crazy. You have to keep going.
Deeper
you know
and
what I mean?
deeper into a hobby, and it gets dangerous.
That's amazing. All right, where you bringing us?
To the back.
Okay. Here we go. Right off the bat, look at these.
Some cool displays, right?
Original Pokemon red, blue displays. A Pikachu.
Yep. And about 500,000 bulk Pokemon cards.
So how do you get these out to people?
So this is more like by request. We used to have it more open for people to look at in the store, but as we have shifted to more online again, we've had to move these to the side.
Yeah, makes sense. All right, what are we looking at, man? What in the world do you do back here? What is all back here?
A lot of whatnot. This is our warehouse section. It's a little disorganized as we're always working back here, but shipping, online sales, testing and cleaning consoles, and running our whatnot streams.
Not disorganized. He says that. They have a con they're about to go to this week. They have multiple stores. They do whatnot, and like even I'm guessing these are probably broken consoles.
Yep.
And they're all just perfectly organized. You must, you must just have that bug that's things have to be a certain way.
They do.
A lot of game stores are not like that. It's just stuff everywhere, and you can't even breathe, and you're like, I don't even know how to think, So this looks great, man.
Thank you.
So you're doing how much do you do on whatnot? Not price, but how much of your sales are on whatnot, and then how about online, and then versus in store?
So whatnot contributes almost half of all our sales.
Okay.
Online, we do eBay as well, and a few others that drive a little bit of sales, and then our stores make up the difference.
All right, Matt is about to bring out the most dangerous video game peripheral that there is. This is, literally, this is a real danger to society, all right? And they used it, Super Nintendo era. Check this out. What do you have?
So this was a Super Nintendo Max rifle, so this was used in military training using the Super Nintendo console.
It's heavy?
Yes,
Oh.
it is.
It's like an actual gun.
It is.
And they
Converted.
use this in training on a Super Nintendo console?
Yes. Yep, with cartridges. There are 3 variants of the cartridges. This is one of them. So this is the basic rifle.
How many of these have you seen? Because again,
I've seen like 8 of them, but
Okay.
I've seen a lot of other
This is
very
made
rare
in Italy?
things. Yeah, so this is an actual, they converted the gun to use, so that way the weight was right and everything.
How freaking cool that they made this, dude. It's amazing, man. Where'd you get this one at?
So this came from another store owner up in Northern Ohio, Rock'em Sock'em Retro. They traded it to us. So he knew he would have trouble moving it. I actually wanted to keep it for myself.
Yeah, I was gonna say, you're gonna keep it.
Yep.
Amazing, dude. All right, Matt, thank you so much for letting us hang out. Truly a gem, man. If you are are we in Columbus or where are we at?
We are technically in Columbus, but just outside 270.
Okay, and he's got this store. Where's the other store located?
In Lancaster, in the River Valley Mall.
Okay, you got to check out Forever Games, guys. They're on Whatnot all the time, and then also their 2 locations, bro. Thank you so much for having us.
Yeah,
this is
thank you
amazing.
so much.
It makes me want to up my game at the store for sure. So, dude, this is awesome.
Appreciate it.